So today we are looking at comparing fractions. So that was another question that came from the parking lot. They asked about comparing fractions, but when comparing fractions, you must ensure that you either show a visual or that you change the denominators to the same number. So on the visual, I have 4/5. I have 5 parts because that's the denominator, fifths, and I've highlighted or shaded in 4 parts of that. Then I have 3/4. I have it sectioned off into 4 parts because the denominator is 4, so all 4 would represent the total or the whole. 3 is the part, so we have a part to whole. It's just a ratio, and so now we've shaded in 3 parts of the whole. When you look at the comparisons, 4/5 comes just above 3/5 in terms of size. We tried to get the boxes drawn exactly the same so that we could compare the lengths in a good way. However, when you're working on fractions, you want to make sure that you have a common denominator so that you can compare them, because we want to know whether we should have a greater than sign or a less than sign. So let's figure out which sign we should have. We're going to have to utilize our senses on multiplication. What is the common multiple, the least common multiple between 4 and 5? We know that it's 20 because we know that the multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. We could go on and on. But we know that the multiples of 4 are 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. We could keep going. But we stopped at 20 because it was the common number, but it was the smallest or least common number that they have. So we're going to use 20 as our new denominator. But in order to make equivalent fractions, we must be able to do the same thing to the denominator that we did to the numerator, or vice versa. So in this instance, we had to multiply our denominator 5 by the number 4 to get 20. So we have to do the same thing to the numerator. So 4 times 4 is 16. We go to the next fraction and do the same thing. We did 4 times 5 to get 20, and now we have to do 3 times 5 on the numerator, which will give us 15. So we're going to be using the greater than sign because 4/5 is greater than 15 over 20, or 3/4. They are equal or equivalent fractions. So we see in using it with a diagram or with converting the denominator to be the same thing. I hope this helps.